creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
The terrifying thing is, and women should know this, is like the guys that are just out for a good time, they're not much fun. And they're a lot worse than you think. And the worst of them are so much worse than you think that if you ever got to look inside their mind, you would never recover. And I'm not saying that lightly. It's not pleasant. Like, the worst of terrible people are so bad. I'm not making this up. Most people who have post-traumatic stress disorder don't have it because they were hurt. They have it because they encountered someone who wanted to hurt them.
Ooh.
Right. And so it was that glimpse of that malevolence that fractured them. It wasn't, people can go through all sorts of horrible things and not be traumatized. You know, a terrible illness, terrible pain, an accident. You wait till you tangle with someone who's malevolent. Boy, you will not be the same person afterward, assuming you manage to put yourself back together at all. So this is not, and it's many of those people too that have free reign online.
Confronting true evil finally convinced me of the reality of the spiritual war between good and evil.
Looks just a little bit too real. But things are about to get even weirder. Watch closely.
If anybody have this guy missing, please. This is crazy. I've never seen anybody look so friggin' real. How you have this man in the store sit down? Look. Look at that. You see? This is friggin' crazy. Look at the guy eye. And them said they made this mannequin and put clothes on him and have him sit down in the window. Look at the guy friggin' face. He's in Paris. If you know anyone that missing a black son look like this, he's in Paris in the store in the window.
The mannequin suddenly appears to be looking directly at the woman. Viewers of the video are creeped out by the sudden change in position, and some even swear they could see the mannequin blinking. The video gets a massive amount of attention as viewers begin to make wild claims that the multi-billion-dollar fashion brand Balenciaga has embalmed one of their models, and that the mannequin isn't a mannequin at all, but is in fact a missing model by the name of Christopher Tyler. The claims become even stronger after Christopher Tyler seems to drop offline. He stops modeling, and mysteriously his Instagram account is suddenly set to private. People became so disturbed by the ultra-lifelike mannequin's resemblance to model Christopher Tyler that Chris had to actually post an Instagram live addressing that he was safe and actually very much alive.
Like, I appreciate everybody's concern, but, you know, you can't feed into whatever you see on the internet.
Nah, you a fraud, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm a fake page, they phone me, everything in the book. Everything in the book.
But all of this really doesn't explain why this creepy mannequin seems to stare at this tourist who gets too close.
Sorry about the music, but that's how I got it. But I think it's a mannequin. You should see a house of wax. What do you think? Tesla robot dancing better than most people. By the way, this is real, not AI.
I actually threw away all my meditation books, all my books on yoga, all my, like, it wasn't just the stuff that people considered spooky. So I posted this post on Instagram where I just took a picture of a good chunk of these books that I took from my library. I have, like, I don't want to say that they were haunting me, but it's like I already knew they were there. I have my son who's growing up and is becoming curious, and it's like, you know, there were some art books I threw away too that weren't in that picture that were like, I don't know if I want my kid to look at that, you know, like, but to me it was like I came to this really awesome realization that night that I decided to post that, was that, like, I don't want these crutches in my life anymore, you know, and that's what I really saw them as, is like, okay, like, I just want Jesus, and it's a very narrow a narrow road, right? Like, I feel like all these other, like, these breathing techniques or these or like spell work or whatever, like nature worship, all these things, it's like they're just crutches. They're not really like my answer. So that was like, it was a symbolic gesture, I guess, in a way, but it was my first like proclaiming of where I stand with certain things. And it was crazy to watch the reaction, because in the comments it was like, I feel like you could see literal demons hissing at each other. And it was coming from both sides, you know, from people that were like, oh, I don't think Aleister Crowley's evil, or hey, like, why would you throw this away? You should give them to people, like, that's so wasteful, or whatever.
Burn it.
And that night, I feel like 2 people came to my house. So at the time we lived in LA and we had a gated house, and I was upstairs with my son and the doorbell rang and we had like a security system, and my husband looks and it was, he screenshotted it, and it was just this possessed person, you know, who just was like, hi, you know, I don't want to freak you out, but I just want to know if I could please have those books, you know, like I really need those books. I need those books. And it was just like, and you could see the darkness in this eye. And like a lot of people, especially in the Christian community, like call everything demonic. And I don't think everything is demonic. Like, but in this case, I was like, I think this is a definition of a demon. Like, this person is possessed and is no longer in control of what they would normally do, because they're obsessed either with fame or with the desire to bring certain evils into your life. You know, I think that's crazy. You know, my husband ushered him away. Then the second person came and they tried to break into our trash cans.
Wow.
Which I had already thrown. Huh?
To get the books.
Yes. Yeah. Which were all readily available online anyway. I mean, I did have like first editions of stuff, but it's like, what is it in you that's like so desperate for, you know, like, again, trying to find these answers in the wrong places. A little.
God snatched Kat Von D right out of her mess. Praise the Lord.
You guys see these giant windmills? Guess how much the owner of this property gets paid monthly for just one of these windmills? $10,000. Yeah, $10,000 for just one. There's 12. There is 12 total windmills on this property. He gets $120,000 for 1 month. He makes $1 million a year just by these simply existing on his property. Most people don't even make $120,000 in a year, let alone in 1 month. And they don't do anything. They don't have to do anything. Where did I go wrong? I should have bought some property out in Texas and let them put a bunch of windmills, and I wouldn't have to work a day in my life. The existence of this windmill is $10,000 a month. Literally shocked.
What's the catch?
Demons attack us in our thoughts. That's where they start. And so your thoughts are not always your thoughts, and you have to learn to ask God for wisdom to decipher what are your thoughts and what are theirs. Generally, anything negative is coming from the devil. Right. The devil is not going to leave it to our own strength and our own immorality or, you know, insufficiency to fall into sin. He's going to do everything he can to push us in that direction. So any negative thoughts in your mind, just remember that there's a demon behind that. And so there's a demon of anger, there's a demon of lust, there's a demon of unforgiveness, there's a demon of pride, jealousy. You just label all of them as demons.
The Bible tells us to guard our hearts and guard our minds.
That's right. Yeah. So, you know, so the first step, your thoughts are not your thoughts.
It's a constant spiritual warfare, every day, every hour, every second. That's why you have to stay in prayer. Wow. If this doesn't break your heart, you're not human. I miss my cat Wesley so much.
Guys, just look at this.
Christian nationalists walk around with a mouthful of scripture and a heart full of hate. Don't tell me what you believe. Show me how you treat other people, and I'll tell you what you believe. Jesus didn't tell us to love our churches. He didn't tell us to love our doctrines and our creeds. He didn't even tell us to love our scriptures. He told us to love our neighbors. And there was no exception to that commandment. Love thy neighbor, regardless of race, class, gender, sexual orientation, or immigration status. One of my favorite theologians, Barbara Brown Taylor, once wrote, "The only clear line I draw these days is this: when my religion tries to come between me and my neighbor, I will choose my neighbor. Jesus never commanded me to love my religion." You know what's interesting? Not once in the entire Bible does Jesus ask us to worship him. All he asks is that we follow him. Love like he loved. Love the outcast. Welcome the stranger. Feed the hungry. Heal the sick. Free the oppressed. As the hymn says, they will know we are Christians by our love. We have to get back to that.
Sounds nice, but not completely true. Just because I love doesn't mean I shouldn't rebuke when you're on the wrong path.
All right, President Trump just named Kash Patel to be the FBI director, and this video is exactly why the left is freaking out. Take a look. The biggest
Oh, big jobs. I cannot wait to see how different the US government is in 4 years.
This is William Rothschild's house. He just passed away in this house as a result of a fire. And apparently he's a member of the Rothschild banking family. This is about $1 million property, but it's dilapidated. And it is in Laurel Canyon on a street called Lookout Mountain. He was known as a hoarder. There's a lot of debris up there. You can see the fire damage if you look. The air is heavy. It smells awful. Like, that's a weird architectural feature for a garage. It's not a stately manor. And you can see there's some really beautiful homes right across the street. There's no information about this guy. There is a heavy energy here, I have to say. Every time I roll through Laurel Canyon, there's just kind of a heavy energy. I can't, there's a lot of weird shit has happened in these hills.
The music documentary Laurel Canyon is the best one I've ever seen. Send me down a rabbit hole I still freak out about.
What would happen if you took zinc for 14 days? First of all, your skin would look a lot better. Your sense of smell and taste would be enhanced. If you were a guy, your testosterone would increase. You may even experience better blood sugars, stronger nails and hair, improved vitamin D absorption, and you might notice that you could see better.
How much zinc are we talking about? The dude driving the jet ski feels like a badass.
Iceland, if you have a kid, the government will pay you money every month. As long as you made the kid yourself. So instead of being like a high wife, I love you so much because I'm so romantic. She's basically your business partner.
Oh man, come on. No. Here in Indonesia, we got nothing. Maybe because we keep breeding like a cat.
Okay, this is the weirdest thing I've seen in a while. So for some reason, ChatGPT refuses to write the name David Mayer. And I didn't believe it until I tried it myself. Now, it'll write David Mayer with an E, but then as soon as you ask it to do M-A-Y-E-R, it just says error. So of course I Googled the name, and this is the top result. He's apparently a British adventurer, environmentalist, film producer, and here's the key detail, the youngest heir to the Rothschild family's banking fortune. So I thought maybe it's a Rothschild thing, maybe ChatGPT and the Rothschild, strange. I asked it to do name all the Rothschilds, right? And it had no problem all until, and I'll show you the recording, until it hits David. And then as soon as it even tries to do the surname, it suddenly fritzes and it just says error.
Wow.
I told you. Weird. And I feel unsafe posting this.
Who even is David Mayer? Anyone know? Drop a comment, please.
What's so valuable that no one can ever take from you? Because success you can take away, right? Mm-hmm. But what's something nobody can fucking take away?
I know.
Family or your soul?
People can take away your family.
Oh, okay, true, yeah. Then your soul then?
You can sell your soul, right? Like
true. Happiness?
Nah, it's the mindset. It's your wisdom.
Oh, okay.
It's your wisdom. Because once you learn, it's like that fool me one time, shame on you, fool me again, put the blame on you. Like you can't fool him again. Mm-hmm. So the wisdom from doing these things, that putting yourself in terrible positions, learning from the hardest, I guess, depths of labor, and bringing that hustle over, you learn things that transcend every single career path you want to go on. Transcends literally every single obstacle, even if you want to make it that way. Yeah. It's all the mindset. So I was thinking about it, like, what makes Batman Batman? What makes Captain America Captain America?
His mindset.
It's literally just their mindset. Batman doesn't fucking have powers. Captain America, he has super strength, but the reason they gave him those was, first, he was the only soldier that seemed worthy.
Yeah.
Because he was an actual hero without the powers, right?
Yeah. Like Kobe, like without Kobe's mentality, what do you have? A regular basketball player.
Regular basketball player.
You can lose your mindset, but one thing you cannot lose or taken away, God's love.
Final question, what's the meaning of life?
Well, I think it ultimately is to come into a relationship with the Creator who made the universe.
What's the last thing you want to say to the audience?
For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. Who will deliver me from this body of death? Thanks be to God, through Jesus Christ.
We're on the right side of the TikToks, folks.
Done it. Yeah. When he makes the demand, they do it. You know, he's the gatekeeper. You know, Diddy was a gatekeeper.
So if you slept with Diddy, you make it?
Yeah. You get a Grammy.
You get a Grammy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was that the Grammy help you?
He gets you a Grammy. They decide who's hot and who's not. They decide, like...
I saw a video of Diddy the other day saying, we'll decide who's hot, who's not.
You see that?
I think I even reposted it.
Yeah.
We decide what's in and what's out.
Please play that for them. Please play.
Your souls. We have the power. We decide what's hot. If we don't go, nobody goes. If we don't support, nobody supports. We control what's cool. We control what's hot. We control what your kids listen to, what they dance to. We control what's in video games. We control how they wear their pants, sag their pants. We control everything.
That explains why Jay and Queen Bee got so many of them trophies.
Elon believes that.
He believes that it's very possible. Like one of the things they said, if you could ask AI, what would you ask? He said, look beyond the simulation.
You get to ask her one question. What would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Like he believes this is a simulation. But if you're Elon Musk, of course you'd believe it's a simulation. People are letting you drill tunnels under LA and shoot rockets off into space and you're making electric cars. Solar roof panels. I mean, he's literally living like some character in a movie. He's like Professor X or something.
There's no simulation.
If anyone denies the divinity of the Son, calling him a creature, and does not confess him to be of the same essence with the Father, let him be anathema, for such a one does not know the truth and distorts the gospel of salvation. He is like the Pharisees of old, blind to the light and leads others into the pit of destruction.
Jesus Christ is God.
Zinc, vitamin D, and magnesium turn on processes in your body that you need to produce testosterone. And every day you should be getting at least 11 milligrams of zinc, 320 milligrams for women, and 420 milligrams for men of magnesium. And this may seem on the lower side for some, but the current National Institutes of Health recommend at least 800 IUs of vitamin D every day in order to at least maintain adequate testosterone levels.
Don't forget to take K2 with D3. You can buy them already together. I take them.
What is the effect of, say, if you have 3 nights a week where you sleep 8 hours, and then the next night 2 hours, and then the next night 8 hours? How much of a bump or how much of a dip does that 2 hours give you in your overall health?
It's bad.
It's bad.
Today, both you and I have produced cancer cells in our body. What prevents those cancer cells from becoming the disease that we call cancer is in part these natural killer cells. And after 1 night of 4 hours of sleep, that is a remarkable state of immune deficiency. And that's one of the reasons why insufficient sleep predicts cancer. In the spring, when we lose an hour of sleep, we see a subsequent 24% increase in heart attacks.
What?
In the fall, in the autumn, when we gain an hour of sleep, there's a 21% decrease in heart attacks. So it's bidirectional. That's how fragile and vulnerable your body is to even just the smallest perturbation of sleep.
1 hour.
1 hour is all it takes.
That's insane.
This is really not helpful to someone with insomnia.
Should you always play max bet on a slot machine? Let's talk about this. I was a slot manager for 9 years. I personally set up hundreds of machines. I got very familiar with the pay tables. So the answer to this question is sometimes you should play max bet. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 real slot machines. Okay, this is the old style slot machines that we started out with. Okay, so those have a 3-coin bet typically, sometimes 2. So the first coin might have a jackpot of $1,000. The second coin might have a jackpot of $2,000. The third coin might have a jackpot of $10,000. So you're getting an extra amount of money by playing that third coin. So it's important to play max bet. Alright, let's talk about the new style machines that are typically video machines. A lot of these are set up to have a multiple range of bets. Some could bet up to $25 or $50 just on a penny machine. So pay attention to the pay table. Some of these will say jackpot can hit on any bet, and some will have a max bet. So when you look, it'll tell you jackpot can hit on any bet, or it can say jackpot increases with the bet amount. So if you bet 50 cents, you can hit the jackpot. If you bet $1, you have a better chance at the jackpot.
You know what the safest bet is? Stay away.
This woman is trying to get into the house, but her access is being blocked, and it's her own home.
Hey.
Lacey Albert and her husband Miles used their savings to buy this 4-bedroom dream home in Riverside, California 14 months ago, but they have not been able to move in, even though they've been paying the mortgage every month.
He just said he wasn't leaving. That was it. Wasn't going to leave the house, barricaded himself in the house.
So who's the guy blocking their way, refusing them entrance to their own home? It's the previous owner.
Do you think that this was his plan from the beginning?
Yes.
Realtor Chris Taylor says he's never seen anything like this in 18 years selling homes.
Every I was dotted, T was crossed, everything that could have been done was done. And there's nothing that could have been done to actually prevent this.
I definitely think it's a case of fraud, that he knew he wasn't going to move out, staged boxes to look like he was going to move out, and then stayed behind.
The Alberts say the courts keep pushing their case back.
I can't walk onto the lot. I just told that would be trespassing.
Judges that protect squatters should be fired and prosecuted.
Who is the creator of the simulation?
Some people say it's aliens. There was a professor at Oxford who wrote a paper about this back in 2003 named Nick Bostrom, and he thinks it's future versions of ourselves. So he thinks we're in what we call an ancestor simulation. Like if we created a game of ancient Rome, they would be like our ancestors in a way. There are others who say it's God or pure consciousness outside of the matrix. So all the religions, not just any specific religion, but pretty much all of them have been telling us that the physical world is not the real world, that there's another world out there beyond this. And so that's yet another theory of what's outside.
Do you believe this is probable, possible?
I believe it's probable, like more than a 50% chance that we are inside some type of...
One of the most fascinating things to me about simulation theory is the evidence of code within our universe. At the very core of all computers and processors, they store all information in a simple 1 or 0 system. This is called binary. Think of it like an on-off switch. 1 is on, 0 is off. Now you might think to yourself, well, programmers don't write in 1s and 0s. No, they don't. They write in simplified languages, but the computer translates that information to binary. Here's my username in binary. All of the information, all of it, on the vast internet is reduced to 1s and 0s. What is extremely fascinating to me is across the spectrum of spirituality, they talk about duality. What's fascinating to me is when you look at the duality of like reproductive organs, it's a 1 and a 0. This is why it's often referred to as binary versus like non-binary. What's fascinating is all of these 1s and 0s, they make everything, pictures, sounds. This is the very famous physicist John Wheeler. He constructed a theory that he calls it from bit, where everything in the visible universe contains this information of 1s and 0s, the on-off switch, and from that reality is constructed. When I say everything, I mean everything, from the smallest little particle to entire galaxies in their construction. Wheeler proposed that physical reality is not fundamental, but rather that we create everything we observe. This means that information that exists all around us is more fundamental than physical matter. Essentially meaning a coder created The Sims. That language, that code was translated into 0s and 1s, and it created the reality that The Sims exist in. They became conscious and started looking around using science, mathematics, spirituality, all these different vehicles to learn and explain the reality. You would see the evidence of the 0s and the 1s in the coding, because that is the true existence. What they perceive is just a manifestation of that coding. If you're not new to my channel, you know that I love spirituality, shamanism, esoteric knowledge. And what's wild to me is when you look at the world's religions, belief systems, it's crazy because a lot of the thought leaders in all these different sectors, their messaging could be translated as evidence that we live in a simulation. Simulation that is a projection from a superconsciousness. That superconsciousness is both what gives us life, makes us the conscious observer of creation. But it's insane to me. It literally breaks my brain that all of the information in the world can be distilled down to this. I promise you, when you start looking for it, you will see it everywhere. It is fascinating to look at the concept of duality from the perspective of binary code. It kind of breaks your brain.
The challenge to simulation theory is who created the world that runs where we're being simulated from? And if that's also simulation, then who created the world of the top simulation?
Remember the movie Limitless? The one where this guy is extremely unsuccessful until he takes a pill and can access 100% of his brain power for 12 hours? Most people don't know that it's not just fiction. Its real-world counterpart exists, and it's a supplement called NZT, Lion's Mane. After taking it, people report that they can do things they couldn't normally do before. They stay focused for hours on one task and process information extremely quickly. But if it has all these benefits, why can't we find it at common retailers or pharmacies? It's because most pharmaceuticals don't want you to experience what your brain could achieve at its full capacity, which is why the only way you can get it is directly through their website.
Take my money if it's worked.
Can't imagine what it would be like to be his mother, watching him go from PayPal to rockets to Tesla to all just one thing after another. You ever surprised about what he's coming up with next?
Well, every time I'm surprised, and every time I say, don't take on something else. And he doesn't listen to me. And then he makes a big change. And this Neuralink, people saying, why I don't want something in my head. I said, well, you aren't paralyzed. So, or you aren't blind.
Good point.
If you're blind and you don't want to see, then you can argue the point. You don't have to have a chip in your head. You don't have to have a chip in your head.
Ooh. Elon's childhood nanny said that his mother and some of the mothers in his house did a science and opened a portal. Nanny asked if Elon was the Antichrist. She said no, but he will present the mark. Who did that and with what? Anyone know? Please drop a comment.
We all know it, that formula at McDonald's. Why that's the best tasting Coke and Diet Coke on the planet?
Why?
There's definitely a different formula.
There are many reasons the Coca-Cola tastes so great at McDonald's. We simply follow the guidelines set by Coca-Cola and take steps to ensure that we serve a high-quality fountain beverage. Well, congratulations, you do that.
Yes.
The water and Coca-Cola syrup are pre-chilled before entering our fountain dispensers with the ratio syrup set to allow for ice to melt. Oh, so that it doesn't get watered down with the ice, so they are making it stronger.
But
that's smart.
Isn't this tell you something, though, that how everything is in the details? You know what I mean? Like, this is something that probably a restaurant would be like, Coca-Cola would say, you should do this, and they go, whatever.
I want to tell you a secret. The most successful people in this world are also the biggest failures. Walt Disney was fired from his dream animation job because they said that he lacked creativity. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team because he wasn't good enough. J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 different publishers, and that book went on to sell 500 million copies. The creator of Honda once said that success is 99% failure. So remember, if you're trying to avoid failure, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success.
So failure is indeed a part of success. I agree. That's what I do when I'm struggling with chopsticks.
You want to know how AI is changing the world? Look at how it's changing hacking. AWS, Amazon Web Services, has gone in 6 months from facing 100 million hacking attempts per day, which is already a staggering number, to 750 million per day. Again, per day. An increase of 7.5x. Why? Because generative AI makes it possible for an ordinary human to go and tell a computer to do things that it previously took a programmer to do. And that includes black hat activities like hacking. You can tell your LLM to hack. I am certainly not going to give you a guide here, so don't ask for it, but you can. And enough people are doing it at scale that one of the biggest targets on the internet is seeing an absolutely astronomical increase in hacking attempts. And one of the concerns is that as we get more capable large language models, the sophistication of these hacks is going to go up. As an example, they can clone voices now very easily.
Yep.
So it would be possible to get voice print social engineering clones. Another example that would be kind of concerning is the ability to autonomously use a large language model to sniff out previously undiscovered security vulnerabilities and then immediately exploit them. Those things are already on the edge of possibility, and it's one of the things that keeps information security officers up at night. We need to develop AI defensive tools that match the AI offensive tools that hackers are already using to rapidly ramp attacks on major internet infrastructure. So there you go. 750 million attacks a day on just one major service on the internet, AWS. I had no idea. It's underscoring how quickly generative AI is changing the security landscape.
Wait till quantum computing hits.
Singers, when they sing songs, it's like a mantra. When you repeat a chorus over and over and over. So when a kid hears a song and he starts singing that chorus over and over and over, then you start to hear it in the alpha state into the subconscious mind. So you start to become the song or become what you're saying.
This is why we all should be mindful of what we're listening to.
You want to know the real reason why relationships fail? Think of it this way. If you're lonely, another person will not solve your loneliness. The problem is that you're alone. The problem is that you don't feel whole and complete within yourself. And this is why so many relationships fail, because people want someone to fill a void that they feel within themselves. If you get into a relationship with someone for that reason, you didn't solve your inner problem. You just involved an innocent person in your inner problem. You were looking for an external solution to an internal problem. Your relationship will have problems because your problems are what caused you to seek that relationship in the first place. A good relationship starts with you bringing your whole self to that relationship, the best version of yourself to that relationship, and that's how the relationship succeeds. No one can make you happy. Happiness is just a state of mind, and it's something that you have to bring to the relationship. So if you're looking for someone to solve your loneliness, you will probably be alone forever.
Someone said happiness is an inside job. I forgot who said it.
Well, basically, you will come to a high priest, and you would tell the high priest, listen, I'm about to do something, right? And would you ask your protector to protect me? So what they would do is they would have a coconut, and then they would have shells, and they would read from the shells, they would read the shells, and they would tell you the future. They would tell you by the spirit would speak to them, and this is real, like real stuff, like black magic. They call it black magic.
I've heard of that, yeah.
It's the same thing.
I know black magic.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So blood rituals, they would sacrifice animals.
Like a chicken.
A chicken, a goat, it could be anything. And they would feed their saints. They would feed their saints. That's what they called, idols. And they'd be like, hey, make sure you protect this person. Wow. And then they have to pay a lot of money for it. It's not something that's, we're gonna do it for free. So you gotta pay the high priest good money so you can get protected.
And no one's raising any eyebrows of like goats going into this building or chickens or nothing?
No. Because in New York City they have marketplaces they can cut the butchers. They could do it there. So what they do is they buy the butcher, they buy from there, take it, and have they'll do sacrifices. But they will do it in a place that nobody won't know. It's very secretly. Like everything I'm saying is very secret. Like nobody doesn't know. People do know what it is, but they won't come out and say it. They won't expose it.
So what's a scenario where this has protected you? Say if you were dealing drugs or running something or whatever you were doing, how did this protect you in a moment?
In a moment, it will keep me away. Like it will keep the police or whatever, the ops, away from the situation. Spiritually, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it will. It's like a guessing game, and this is the thing about spirituality. Like people do it for the money, or sometimes the people are really warlocks, and they can speak to the dead.
Devil always collect at the end. Don't forget about that.
Parasites are freeloaders. You need the right superfoods to actually fight them. Let me tell you some superfoods that can actually do this. Number one, cloves. Cloves are amazing. This is the parasite egg assassin. If those parasites have laid eggs, and trust me, they do all the time, millions of eggs. It's kind of creepy to think that you might have millions of eggs in you right now.
Please don't put your eggs in me.
I gotta start removing these parasites out of my body. Number two, black walnut hull. You can get it in a tincture. I use this stuff, especially around full moons, because that's when parasites are most active for this. Drop it in. These are like little intestinal ninjas. targeting the parasites, getting rid of the bacteria and the fungi. Also, one of my favorite superfoods would be wormwood. Wormwood is amazing. It just doesn't evict those little critters. It annihilates them in a loving way. It's like, come in, bro, bring it in, boom, and then they just disappear. They're gone. They're in a different dimension. No more parasites in your body. Pumpkin and papaya seeds are also great. I try to eat pumpkin and papaya seeds every single day. These are great herbs for parasites. If you want to know more about parasite cleanses that I do, things that I use, binders that I've implemented in my life to actually help, maybe some biohacks, like, follow, save, and subscribe to me for more, you guys. Follow along.
I was watching a video of a person saying he recommended swallowing the papaya seeds whole, not to chew them. Your opinion, please.
It's going to get fun. It's going to get exciting, and we're going to be getting rid of parasites along the way.
I want to watch this because it's so crazy. We're at that moment where you cannot tell.
Right.
And let's look at this one because it's pretty extraordinary.
First, I trained an AI in 11 labs to speak like me, so I can input any text and it will sound like me. Then I trained HeyGen with a video of mine. I input the audio file to generate a video based on my text. The video you are watching right now is the result, 100% generated in AI.
Crazy. How crazy is that?
AI is now making me think I cannot trust anything.
All disease comes from a leaky gut. You could eat all the anti-inflammatory foods in the world, but if you have leaky gut, that's like fighting a forest fire with a garden hose. If you've got leaky gut, you can put your turmeric in your smoothie and it's not going to do anything. You have to eat foods that allow your gut microbiome to seal your leaky gut. Once you do that, you won't have inflammation. There's no such thing as an anti-inflammatory food. You have to have foods that help your microbiome grow and foster and then help seal your leaky gut.
So what foods heal the leaky gut? Please.
The new Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, is aiming to wipe out unnecessary government spending. Here's some cuts that they could consider. Check this out. Over $500,000 from the National Institutes of Health awarded to Russian labs to study cats walking on treadmills. How about $39 million to oversee DEI efforts? $50 million, I'm serious, to study monkeys, testing how they performed while on meth and injecting them with female hormones. $1.3 billion in checks sent by the federal government to people who have already passed away, and $7 billion wasted on empty federal buildings. Now, Doge is beginning to recruit.
And then there is the $5 billion of government contracts to Elon Musk.
A prayer for the coming of Mashiach, for real peace around the world. It's us! Mashiach ani mahamin bevias Mashiach bevias Mashiach ani mahamin bevias Mashiach.
He already came. Praise Yeshua.
There's a mating crisis going on. Women who are becoming increasingly college educated, getting access to resources of their own, they do continue to exhibit an increased preference for partners with resources. Women are what we call hypergamous, which means that we like to mate up in terms of achievement and educational attainment. And when you have a populace, like we do in the US, of women who are now on average more educated than men, it makes it more difficult to find a suitable partner. If you're a woman with an advanced degree and you want somebody who has at least as much education for you, that's going to lead to a more narrow pool of mates. In fact, what we see is that there are an increasingly large number of women who are just choosing not to get married and are choosing to stay single. There's a wonderful book called All the Single Ladies that is about this very phenomenon. Women are increasingly choosing to opt out of long-term mating if they're not able to find the relationship that they want.
It's crazy. They made up a technical term for gold digger.
Someone earned $36 million last year for 1 year's work. Now, jot this down. To climb this ladder as high as you wish, And you got to underline the word wish. Because part of your future now is what you wish and what you want. To climb this ladder as high as you wish in terms of bringing value to the marketplace and becoming valuable to the marketplace. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's the simple philosophy that changed my life forever starting age 25. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is fine. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune, which is super fine. Everything changed for me when I understood this philosophy. I didn't mind working hard on my job, but things didn't seem to change that much. So let me put it in a philosophical phrase now. This is worth the price of whatever it costs for you to be here today. Here it is. Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person.
Ooh.
Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by becoming attractive. And the whole scope of this we call now personal development. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. If you can multiply your value by 3, by 5, you can easily multiply your income by 3, by 5, by 10. But the key to doing it is to work hard on yourself.
This is great. Thank you. Basically, every Disney movie is related.
Is it true that you were one time declared a national security threat?
Yeah, because one of the prosecutors had come up with this idea that I could dial into NORAD, whistle into the phone, and launch a nuke. In fact, when I was in court and the prosecutor tells the judge this, I started laughing because I never heard of something so absurd in my life. And of course, the judge believed it hook, line, and sinker, so I ended up being held in solitary confinement for almost a year over the myth that I could whistle the launch codes. But I've been practicing.
Okay. You must have driven your parents really crazy.
Oh, yes. I mean, I remember when I started this phone freaking stuff when I was 17, the phone company got so pissed off because I would do things like I would change a friend's home phone to a pay phone. So whenever he or his parents tried to make a call, say, please deposit 25 cents. I thought it was pretty funny, you know, changing a friend's home to a prison phone. So whenever they make a call, collect calls only, sir. You know, so, you know, they didn't have a sense of humor like I did. So they actually sent my mom a letter, we're taking your phone out. And my mom was livid. And there was nothing she could do. And I said, Mom, I'll solve the problem. Don't worry.
This dude has about a paragraph dedicated to him in my intro to security class. He's the real thing.
Camille Cosby. You know she's part white. She's a Rothschild. The Luciferian. That co-owned YouTube. Y'all didn't know that, did you? Did Bill Cosby marry the love of his life, or did he marry an industry plant? Other question. Everyone knows Bill Cosby is a villain now, but does anybody know whether or not he was a victim? Because butt breaking has been around for a long
What? Butt breaking?
This is Sparta! He was huge, just like Will Smith out of nowhere. You want to know what's funny? Him and Sidney Poitier, those movies, they were only supposed to get one, and they ended up getting a few. Picture this, hypothetically. Sidney Poitier ain't one that had to do the deed, so he let old Bill get it, so they could get that budget. Don't forget, the tunnels from Diddy's house led to Hugh Hefner's house. That naked pool was down there long before Diddy was able to buy a home. It was Hugh Hefner's house where most of the offenses that the women accused Bill Cosby of.
Creepy.
Have to come into existence simultaneously. The Bible answers that in 10 words. In the beginning, there's time. God created the heaven, there's space, and the earth. There's matter. So you have time, space, matter created a trinity of trinities there. Just, time is past, present, future. Space has length, width, height. Matter has solid, liquid, gas. You have a trinity of trinities created instantaneously, and the God who created them has to be outside of them. If he's limited by time, he's not God. The guy who created this computer is not in the computer. He's not running around in there changing the numbers on the screen, okay? The God who created this universe is outside of the universe. He's above it, beyond it, in it, through it. He's unaffected by it. So
you are resting too much. You are not creating. The whole reason you are here is to turn thoughts into physical reality. Everything you see around you. This pencil was a thought before it was manifested physically. If you do not create, which is your whole sole purpose of your mind is here to create. If you are not creating and creation is minimal in your life, you will become depressed. You have to be working towards something in your life. You earn happiness. Okay? Everything you listen to, everything you see, everything you hear, all contributes towards your mental health. You cannot fix mental health with a physical pill from the doctor. You know why? Because your mind is not a physical thing. It's a spiritual consciousness. It's not physical. Your brain is not your mind. Your mind is the intelligence in the body. You have to control the mind to control your external reality. You see, where you are in life right now is a direct correlation with every thought you have thought up until this point. All of the thoughts you thought in the past has led you to this point. So what does that tell you? Your life, your external reality is a result of your mind. You change your mind, you change your reality. Stay wise, people.
Okay. Matthew 18:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Jesus will give you rest.
This is the craziest thing you are going to hear for a very, very long time. Right now I'm in front of the Golden Gate, which is this gate right here, known as the gate in Ezekiel, where the Messiah is going to come through before he reigns for 1,000 years after he descends on the Mount of Olives and eventually come through the Golden Gate. But as you can see, this is an entire Islamic Muslim graveyard where they put literally Islamic graves everywhere because they believe in Islam that a holy Messiah or a holy prophet or whatever cannot move over dead bodies or be touched with dead bodies. But check, this is even crazier. Here you can see that the sign literally says, and they put these signs up everywhere, where it says, may Allah protect these men or these people that are buried here from the horrible day or the terrible day of resurrection, and may Allah teach them their argument for the next life. This means that they literally believe in the Messiah and in the day of resurrection. How crazy is that? You just can't argue with the fear and the power of the Almighty God, because here we can see that they've got prayers praying to Allah to protect these people from the day of resurrection, where they've put graves everywhere to stop the Messiah from coming, meaning that they in themselves believe in the Messiah and in the day of resurrection, where it specifically tells us in prophecy that many will be raised from the earth, from the dead. You can't argue with scripture and you can't argue with facts.
Nothing can stop our Messiah from fulfilling his word.
When I went to Twitter, when I got a call one day from someone at Twitter basically saying, Elon wants to meet you. Can you get here tonight? It was about 3 o'clock on a Tuesday or something, Tuesday or Thursday. And I called everybody I knew who had a private plane. I was like, somebody's got to get me over there. Nobody can get on. I jump on a plane. I get to Twitter at about 12:30 a.m. This is like a week or two after he bought Twitter. And he comes out, there's all these people there. It's just such a buzz, right? And he comes out, it's about 12:30 a.m. His eyes are bloodshot. And he's clearly tired, right? And you've met him many times now. He dresses like a normal guy. He's in like this ratty t-shirt. It's late at night, his sneakers are dirty. And he's clearly been there for God knows how long. Probably hasn't slept
5 years.
Yeah, probably hasn't slept in however, right? And he says to me, he goes, Dave, I heard about what's been going on with your account. He's like, do you want to do this tonight? Or if it's okay, could we do it tomorrow? I was like, this is insane. The world's richest man is basically like, can I work for you tonight at 1 a.m.? I was like, oh, it's actually okay. I'll come back tomorrow. And then I sat there the next day with a whole bunch of engineers who opened the hood of the thing. And the entire system, the entire Twitter system was built to shadow ban. That's it. Everything under the hood of Twitter was built to put filters and tags, and you said this, so now you can't see this, or you connected with that person, so now you can't connect with this person. The entire system was built that way. So Jack Dorsey, who was the CEO for much of it, he testified under oath that they do not shadow ban, but the whole freaking system was built that way. Now, he probably legally didn't get in trouble because shadow ban is not a technical term, and he may have, been, I think he was just playing with the words there. But the point is, there was an entire system basically built to silence a certain set of people and promote another set of people. And now, it didn't work. So how cool is that? How cool is that? And that's where we're at right now.
Now TikTok does it. The real word is censorship.
If you're a man and you really want to help a woman step more into her feminine energy, then I'm going to tell you how to do that. You can do that with one simple thing, and it's called clarity. So how clear can you be as a man? Say you're dating someone and you're just feeling like, this only feels like friendship. Say that. If you're dating someone and you feel like, I actually want more, say that. If you're already in a relationship and you actually would like to deepen it more, say that. Out with the clarity. Where is this going? And if you don't know, then say that. Hey, I've been seeing you for a while and I actually don't know what I'm feeling. I will need to meet you more to know that. But I wanted to give some clarity about that I don't know. Who will be able to put any woman straight away into her feminine energy with clarity.
Precisely. Saves a lot of pain and sadness. Be honest. She's gorgeous, by the way.
The banks are printing billions of dollars out of thin air. It's an illusion. People are working for money.
People are working for money. You need to be working to develop a business for yourself, to solve problems. Don't work for money. Money will come. But people don't make money because they're not the type of person that attracts money. The reason the guy at Chick-fil-A or McDonald's makes $8 or $10 an hour is because they're replaceable. The person that's not replaceable, that is developed, is going to make a lot more money.
This sounds good and all, but everybody is replaceable. And people will step on whoever to get your spot. Oh. Easy to pass it on until you are faced with the real situation and under pressure.
Time I heard you issue a challenge to any preacher or anything that dispute what you say. Has anyone taken your challenge?
Nobody's taking my challenge.
Who have you debated?
Get out of here.
Whoever did debate.
Have you ever had like a public debate with anybody? Like it's on YouTube, we can see, or no?
Haven't had a public debate.
You're open to debating anybody?
I'm open, yeah.
Okay, so if we set up anything with anyone else that's maybe expert in the area of topic that you're okay with a panel like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so...
Yeah, keep going. We can do a follow-up. I really appreciate it, Billy. Thanks so much for interacting.
Lee, so I don't know if you know what's going on. Billy Carson,
that
dude, sat down with Wes Huff. Wes Huff is
that dude's sharp.
brilliant.
Very sharp.
Very sharp, very brilliant.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a slaughter.
It was.
I didn't know this happened, but I already know it's like.
It was a slaughter.
Yeah,
it was bad. And within the first couple moments, he admits to misspeaking. He admits to having multiple facts wrong. Like he gets cornered like right away. Billy gets up, walks out because he had to go. Then tells him he can't put it out. After thinking about it, he puts out a trailer trailer, people start talking. Wes does a video explaining what happened. Mark does a video explaining what happened. The same story. Billy Carson doesn't want
They do it together as well.
Yes, Billy Carson does not want this to come out. He is going to put together a debate in the background in person with a real Christian scholar, and that's going to be announced soon. Nothing gets announced. There is no debate. No one is going to sit down with him.
By the way, Wes Huff is a real Christian scholar.
Wes Huff.
No,
Wes Huff.
brilliant. I know who that is.
He is
I know
brilliant.
both of them are. I just didn't realize this happened.
Yeah, put the debate out. I know it's personal. I know it's complicated, but don't let this man bully you, bro.
Yeah.
Don't let this man bully you. Unless, hey, the only caveat I would say, unless he's willing to run it back with Wes in person, and I will pay for Wes's flights and accommodations and food. If he's willing to run it back or run it back with a credible scholar, that would be the only way I wouldn't release this.
Billy Carson is the biggest joke among real historians. Finally, someone told him to shut up